It's a rainy day, Chazdei Hashem, in Telstone, and we were doing a little reminiscing. I remember many years ago, I was walking in Yerushalayim with Rav Tannenbaum, Zatzal. He was the secretary of the Vada Yeshivas and a sixth generation Yerushalmi. And as we were walking the streets of Yerushalayim, and we saw many teenagers walking by. In those days, they were holding transistors to their ears. And he asked me a question. He said, why do you think that they will not go Daled Amas without their transistor glued to their ears? Of course, if it would be today, the question would be, why is it that nobody can walk without doing something on their smartphone? Right? And I said, I'm not sure. He said, do you think that their love for music is so great that they cannot go a moment without listening to what they call music? And I said, I somewhat doubt that. He said, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Subconsciously, they're not aware of it, but they're afraid to be alone with themselves. So if you're alone with yourself, you start thinking. You might even ask yourself a question, what am I doing? What is life all about? Am I fulfilling the purpose for which I was put into this world? And some of those thoughts can be uncomfortable. And therefore it's better to be distracted. Today, we live in a world of distraction. Now, don't misunderstand. Once in a while, distraction is very good. But when it becomes a way of life, it threatens our very essence as a human being. I've got to tell you something crazy, insane, way out, because I want to learn something from it. Do you know that my Rebbe, the Ali Shur, Zatzal, he once spoke to us in Shir Chumash, and he said, he doesn't like it when fellows run. When they run from place to place. Why? He's not talking about exercise, chas v'sholom, that's great. But he's talking about just running to get to the bus. Someone once asked him, so why? What's wrong with it? He said, when I am carrying on my shoulders the world, how can I run? When you run, you stop thinking. And man is not meant to stop thinking. Today, thinking has become a lost art. Of course, I'm not advocating we should stop running to the buses. But I am advocating that we should do a little thinking. It's so easy to allow ourselves to be distracted. It's so easy to lose sight of our ability to think and perceive. And there's so many questions we have to ask ourselves. As I mentioned before, are we doing the purpose for which we were created? Are we relating to other people properly? Are we bringing simcha to the world? Are we connected to Hashem and to His people? There's so many questions to think about. And yet, it's much easier and much more comfortable to be distracted. But if we make distraction a way of life, we are losing Think about it. It's worth thinking about. Thank you. I forgot to tell you, the Mishgiach, the Ali Shur, right, told over this story. He said when he came to the Mir Yeshiva, so he was told there that the Talmidim in the Mir Yeshiva, they don't just run. They don't run. One Motzei Shabbos, he was sitting and learning the Beis Medrash, and suddenly one of the boys closes the Morah and ran outside. As if spontaneously, everybody closed their Gemorahs and they ran outside following him. Right? His Chavruza said, "We have to go." He said, "What's happened? Why? What?" He said, "This Ruva told me there's a fire. There's a fire." And the Mir is all wooden homes, and a fire could be very serious and spread and harm people and property. So, I mean, so they closed the Gemorahs, they ran outside, right? And a minute later, they were part of the bucket brigade putting out the fire, right? Everybody knew. Nobody shouted, nobody announced it. Everybody knew. If you're running in the Mir, there has to be a fire. Because you don't think